In 2025, Neuralink has entered a phase where real human trials are producing measurable signals, especially with its most ambitious project yet, Blindsight.
Our next product is Blindsight, which will enable those who have total loss of vision, including if they've lost their eyes or the optic nerve, or maybe have never seen, were blind, even blind from birth, to be able to see again.
On autogearshift, we recently ran a viewer poll asking what topic you wanted us to cover next. Out of nearly 70 total votes, more than 30% selected Neuralink, making it the most requested topic by a clear margin. This video is our direct response, and our way of saying thank you for consistently shaping the direction of this channel. For seniors, engineers, and tech-focused viewers, Neuralink raises practical questions that go beyond headlines. Could a brain implant realistically restore vision? How close is this technology to leaving the lab and entering real-world use? And what does seeing actually mean when vision is delivered directly to the brain? In today's video, we'll break down what Neuralink Blindsight actually is, what has been confirmed by real data, and what still remains uncertain as of 2025. If you value clear analysis over buzzwords, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. We're just one step away from 21,357 subscribers, and your support directly helps us continue delivering grounded, data-driven tech coverage you won't find on typical tech channels. What exactly is Neuralink Blindsight, and how is it fundamentally different from traditional vision restoration? To understand Blindsight, it's critical to separate it from earlier vision restoration technologies that many people mistakenly compare it to. Traditional visual prosthetics, such as retinal implants, rely on partially functioning eyes. These systems stimulate the retina using electrode arrays and depend on surviving optic nerve pathways to transmit signals to the brain. In practice, this limits their effectiveness to very specific cases. Resolution is extremely low, often equivalent to recognizing light sources or basic shapes, and only when portions of the visual system remain intact. Neuralink Blindsight takes a fundamentally different approach. It bypasses the eye entirely. Instead of stimulating the retina or optic nerve, Blindsight targets the visual cortex, the region of the brain responsible for processing visual information. This means the system is theoretically capable of working even in cases where the eyes or optic nerves are completely non-functional. The core hardware behind this system is Neuralink's N1 implant, a coin-sized device containing more than 1,000 electrode channels inserted directly into targeted brain tissue using a surgical robot designed for micron-level precision. Each electrode is thinner than a human hair, allowing it to interact with individual neuron clusters while minimizing tissue damage. From a signal perspective, Blindsight operates more like a direct data interface than a camera replacement. External sensors capture visual information, which is then translated into electrical stimulation patterns delivered to the visual cortex. The brain interprets these patterns as visual input, even though no light ever enters the eye. In early-stage animal tests and preliminary human data discussed publicly by Elon Musk, subjects do not experience full-color, high-resolution vision. Instead, they perceive points of light, known as phosphines, arranged spatially. Over time, the brain may learn to interpret these patterns more efficiently, similar to how cochlear implant users adapt to artificial hearing signals. In practical terms, early Blindsight vision is expected to resemble extremely low-resolution, monochrome output, closer to a digital HUD than natural eyesight. Think of it less as restoring sight and more as providing navigational awareness. For comparison, even optimistic internal targets suggest early Blindsight resolution may be measured in hundreds of pixels, not millions. A modern smartphone display exceeds 2 million pixels. This gap highlights how early stage the technology still is. However, the strategic advantage is scalability. Unlike retinal implants that are limited by biological constraints, cortical stimulation theoretically allows resolution to improve as electrode density, signal processing, and neural mapping advance. This is where Blindsight separates itself from decades of stalled vision prosthetics. It is not constrained by the eye's condition, only by how precisely technology can interface with the brain. And that leads to the next critical question. If Blindsight works at the brain level, how safe is it? And what have actual human trials shown so far? As of 2025, Neuralink's Blindsight project has not yet reached full public human vision restoration trials in the way many headlines imply. However, enough verified information exists from Neuralink's broader human implant program to draw realistic boundaries around what Blindsight can and cannot do at this stage. Neuralink received FDA approval in 2023 to begin human trials focused on paralysis patients, using the N1 implant to decode neural signals related to movement and cursor control. By 2024, the first human patient demonstrated the ability to move a computer cursor and play chess using only brain signals. This matters for Blindsight because the underlying hardware, surgical method, and signal processing pipeline are the same. In these early trials, Neuralink confirmed stable recording from over 1,000 electrode channels for months at a time, with no reported acute neurological damage. Implant power consumption remains extremely low, measured in single-digit milliwatts, allowing the device to operate wirelessly without generating heat that could damage brain tissue. This thermal constraint is critical, because the human brain tolerates temperature increases of less than 1 degree Celsius over baseline. For Blindsight, stimulation, not just recording, is the harder problem. Recording neural signals is relatively passive. Stimulation requires precise, repeatable electrical patterns that do not cause seizures, inflammation, or neural fatigue. In non-human primate tests disclosed by Neuralink, visual cortex stimulation produced consistent phosphene patterns when electrodes were activated at controlled amplitudes measured in microamps, well below thresholds known to cause tissue damage. Elon Musk has publicly stated that early Blindsight output would be low resolution, potentially inferior to natural human vision, but still sufficient for basic navigation. While exact numbers have not been formally published, comparable academic cortical vision systems typically operate in the range of 60 to 300 distinct stimulation points. Even at the upper end, this equates to something closer to a digital outline than a detailed image. From a real-world perspective, this means Blindsight in its first human iterations is not designed for reading text, recognizing faces, or driving. Instead, it is aimed at restoring spatial awareness, identifying doorways, obstacles, movement, and large objects in an environment. From a regulatory standpoint, Neuralink remains in an exploratory phase. Any Blindsight-specific human trial would require expanded FDA approval beyond the current paralysis-focused protocol. Historically, this process takes 12 to 24 months, even without major safety setbacks. What physical and engineering limits could prevent Blindsight from ever reaching natural human vision? The first and most obvious constraint is electrode density. The human visual cortex contains tens of millions of neurons, organized in layers that process edges, motion, contrast, and spatial orientation. Neuralink's N1 implant, even in its most advanced configuration, operates with just over 1,000 channels. Even if future versions double or triple that number, the system would still be interacting with a fraction of a percent of the neurons involved in natural vision. For comparison, the human eye delivers visual information equivalent to tens of millions of data points per second to the brain. By contrast, a cortical interface with 1,000 stimulation points is functionally closer to a dot matrix display than a modern screen. Increasing resolution is not simply a matter of adding more electrodes, because each electrode requires physical space, power, and safe thermal margins. Heat dissipation is the second major barrier. The brain is extremely sensitive to temperature. Neural tissue begins to show stress with sustained temperature increases as small as 1 degree Celsius. Neuralink's implant already operates near the upper limits of safe thermal output, while consuming only a few milliwatts of power. Any attempt to dramatically increase stimulation density would raise power consumption and heat, creating a safety ceiling that cannot be ignored. Latency is another underappreciated challenge. Natural vision operates with near-instantaneous feedback loops between the eyes, thalamus, and visual cortex. In blindsight, visual data must be captured externally, processed by algorithms, transmitted wirelessly, and then converted into electrical stimulation patterns. Even under ideal conditions, this introduces delays measured in tens of milliseconds. While this may sound small, latency becomes noticeable when interacting with moving objects or navigating complex environments. This has practical consequences. Tasks that require rapid visual motor coordination, such as driving, cycling, or even walking through crowded spaces, depend on predictive processing. If visual input lags behind real-world motion, the brain must compensate, increasing cognitive load and fatigue. This is why early blindsight use cases focus on controlled environments rather than dynamic ones. There is also a biological adaptation limit. While the brain is plastic, it is not infinitely so. Studies on sensory substitution show that beyond a certain complexity threshold, artificial sensory input becomes harder to integrate meaningfully. This suggests blindsight will benefit most from simplified visual representations, such as outlines, contrast boundaries, and motion cues, rather than full photorealistic scenes. One important detail often overlooked is adaptation time. Neural plasticity plays a massive role in how usable blindsight becomes. Cochlear implant data suggests that patients require 6 to 12 months of continuous use before the brain fully adapts to artificial sensory input. Neuralink expects a similar learning curve for visual cortex stimulation, meaning early results may appear underwhelming even if the underlying system is functioning correctly. So here's the real question for you. If low-resolution visual awareness could restore independence, would that be enough? Do you see blindsight as a meaningful breakthrough, or a technology that will remain limited to niche medical cases? And how far do you think brain-computer interfaces should go? If this analysis helped you cut through the hype, hit the like button, subscribe to AutoGearshift, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.